What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 320 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
What up?
And this week, we're geeking out about Cyberpunk for real this time. I mean, we were geeking out about Cyberpunk last time, but it was the genre. This time, it's the 2077 video game.
Yes.
Yeah. Me and LJ, we'll talk about that in a minute. We're also going to be talking about the future of voiceover. Kind of exciting and scary and weird. And TV trailers that we actually care about. We usually care about the trailers, I guess, but
this time we really care.
This time I'm really excited
before.
for.
Yeah.
One of them I'm extremely excited for.
I would agree.
And it's Dragon Prince.
I am there as well. We will talk about it.
So let's start with Cyberpunk then. LJ, me and you, we've both been playing it. I was trying to figure out, like, the entire time I've been playing, how to explain where I was without giving anything away. And they kind of fed it to me, which was really nice. I'm in Act 2. Just started.
Okay, I don't know necessarily where that is myself, because I went back to my old file. So I am in, like, the Wasteland, kind of like the Badlands, working with a character I don't know if you've met yet, called Pan Am. No. There's a lot of, like, characters you'll work with that you'll come to know. But I'm enjoying it. It's definitely improved. There are still bugs. There are still issues. Yeah. But also it takes me back to games like, I didn't even list this, but, like, I just finished, like, Saints Row recently, and that game has a lot of bugs. Like, the new one, it has a lot of bugs and problems, but I still enjoy it. So I'm kind of on that same spot with 2077 right now, where I'm like, yeah, this has issues, but it's, instead of being this immersive action game, it's very much more of an RPG, so it feels very like a Fallout to me, rather than like a GTA.
Okay, yeah. I do wish it had third person. I'm kind of missing that.
Yeah, I mean, you can do third person in your vehicles and stuff, which is cool. But yeah, so instead of, I think when people came to this game, they thought it was going to be more of a GTA, and it really turned out to be more of like a Fallout and, kind of a thing. It's very RPG heavy, which I think is awesome. But it's also very action heavy.
Yeah, a lot of skill tree and, like, building. I looked at, like, different character builds before I got into it, which I thought was interesting.
Yep. I don't even know what mine is right now. I just started getting back into it, and I'm
bad at building, like, builds. I'll just kind of go with whatever suits me, and so I'll probably be all over the place and not specified in one spot.
Like min-maxing kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I really there's a side quest that I won't go into detail, hoping you end up discovering it. But there's a quest in there where it really talks about faith, like it deals with the topic of faith.
That's cool.
And you encounter this character who has this sort of redemption thing going on, and he is a bit nuts, and he is taking things too far with the faith element. But it has your character asking questions, and you can there's even a dialogue option where you can somebody asks you, like, oh, do you believe? And you can say, I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler. You can actually say yes, no, maybe there's a higher power or whatever. And I was like, well, this is Cyberpunk. My V probably wouldn't believe, so I chose the higher power option. And it was neat to see that quest progress and kind of have V going like, wow, okay, this dude's nuts, but there might be something to this, like. But that's cool. Hopefully, I want you to find that quest line. And
what did you start at? What was your class?
Oh, I don't remember. I definitely started as a street kid.
Street kid, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
not really a class. That's not a fair thing. Background.
Yeah. I definitely started as a street kid. Yep.
So did I. It just made the most sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, based on my own roots, I'm like, yep, street kid.
The one thing that I did want to mention in this, and I didn't get to play it when it, like, first came out and all the bugs and stuff. So maybe I can't speak to it too well. But to me, looking at the scope of this game, I almost feel like it wasn't rushed out, but that it was like maybe they took on more than they should have. The game is massive, and the stuff that you can do in it is really intricate. As far as, like, there's a bunch of different gameplay mechanics that I see that you're doing. I don't want to give anything away, but one of them has you kind of moving the camera around scenes, basically, and, like, that's a whole different mechanic to this game that, like, they included and they had to do consistently. And so, like, when you're adding all those different intricacies, I could see why there would be bugs to this, because they were trying to do so much. It doesn't feel like it was rushed. It feels like maybe they
It was ambitious.
Had more than they could chew.
It's like maybe they rushed to get as much of that done as they could, but it was never really possible to begin with a time frame like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Too ambitious for that.
It's super ambitious.
And it was announced over like a decade ago too. So
which is the
imagine
part.
how many times they started and stopped and restarted development too in that decade.
What a weird game.
I do want a third person. They need to give me a third person.
There's probably a mod
That's
for that
me.
if you get it on PC.
I know. Yeah, I got it. I've been playing it on the PS5.
I've been tempted to try it on PC because it's on sale right now, and I'm like, ooh, I bet it runs amazing on a PC.
I think there is a third person mod on PS5 or on PC too. I think I read something about that, but yeah, I probably will never get a third person. It just that city is so big and so in first person, it feels so much bigger, and it's a little overwhelming almost.
It definitely adds
makes
a sense of
sense.
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But overall, I'm enjoying it. It's got quirky humor, and just has been fun so far.
Did you guys just play because of the show?
No, I played because it was on sale, and I think that had part to it.
Yes,
so it was
because
on
of the
sale,
show.
and I think it went on sale because of the show.
I played when it came out for a little while, and I'm thinking in my head like, sure, this has issues, but it's not that bad. But also, it's the previous gen ones that were really having issues. So like, I didn't have that problem as much as other people did, since I already had it on like a series. And this is before they added the next gen upgrade. So hopefully, Cody, you're playing like the PS5 version specifically because there's an upgrade.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that too. That was a big thing. Is that just came out like a month ago or 2 months ago?
A while back, yeah.
And so I was waiting for that to happen, and then it was full price, and so I was able to get the PS5 version for $25.
Yep.
And my wife is out of town for a couple weeks, so
you had time.
I was like, perfect storm for me to get the game.
But partially, I got back into it because I was hearing about how people were getting back to it. A buddy of mine said he was going to re-download it, and then I was like, oh yeah, the show just came out, and then so I was like, well, let me re-download it, and then the reverse happened where. Yesterday, I started replaying it, and then I watched the show because I'm like, "Ooh, I hear the show is really good."
This is the Arcane effect.
Yes,
everyone watches the show, or at least there's enough people watching the show that even people who aren't watching hear about it and are like, "Oh, I should play this game."
Yep.
And the game's bad. No, I'm just kidding. I will always crap on League.
It's still got
But Cyberpunk is I've seen lots of people discussion online. People trying to be like, "Oh yeah, well like Cyberpunk was always good. It was always fine," but it's like. No, it wasn't. There were a lot of problems with it, so we can't just ignore those things.
But even
broken,
for like,
and I think unplayable at some point.
Absolutely.
Even with Arcane, but even with Arcane, I would recommend people check out like Wild Rift, like the mobile version, because you're gonna run into real toxic realm if you play actual League, you know. So, but I mean, with Cyberpunk, like, it's a single-player game. You don't gotta worry nothing about that.
Right.
It is heavy M. There's a lot of... I mean, it's the Witcher devs. So it's very adult content. And you can turn some of that off, actually. Like, there is a setting to where you can turn some of that adult content off. Which I think is cool. There's some of it still there. There's a lot of...
There's story beats. They're just kind of...
Yes. Yeah. Ooh, very heavy M. So I do want to preface that. Before we get too far. So
I mean, this game, we'll just throw this out there. You can, in the creation, like person creation, change the genitals of your character.
In Conan Exiles, they call that endowment and bust size.
That's ridiculous. Which led me to believe, I want to throw that out there, that the character creation of this was going to be super in-depth. Right. It's really not.
Nope. So disappointing.
I had to get like weird with
34 different ears that you choose from, but like Fallout 4, you could like mold the person.
Yeah, no, you can't do that in this.
Yeah, you're just kind of choosing things. I was very surprised by that after hearing all of the...
What I need is...
this, and you should be able to do this.
Someone, and maybe it's out there, so listeners, please let me know. But I'm so tired of character creations only being restricted to like these weird games, or like Cyberpunk, or like RPGs, or MMORPGs, for example. I think like Black Desert, for a while, you can just get the character creator of Black Desert, because that was like one of their big selling points, was like,
Yeah.
The character creator's insane.
I remember you literally
Shelley made me.
Yeah, I was gonna
and I
say,
remember I did it on stream. It was really fun.
I was so excited.
And that was wonderful, especially for someone like me who, enjoys D&D and like character creation and stuff like that. It's like, I don't just want to have to get an entire game just for that, please.
Yeah, so
I would love to
Saints
just
Row-
get a good character creator that's just that on its own. Even if you have to pay for it, like even just that on its own, like I kind of want.
So Saints Row has a boss factory they came out with too before their game. So it's like you can
Spore.
It was kind of like, I think it started on 3 maybe, but it was nice that like I can make my character before the game came out, and then when the game came out, I literally just ported my boss factory character. So yeah, more games do need to do that. I agree.
I feel like I should preference. So I yelled out Spore that I realized we have some people listening to the podcast live. You could do that on Mondays around, is it 5 Pacific Standard Time, right?
Nope. 6.
6 o'clock, my bad.
As long as we've been doing
people
this.
in the chat. And I was reading the chat out loud, and then I was like, oh yeah, this isn't a
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a podcast. So I needed to explain my Spore outburst. It's very exciting.
No, but Spore you could do. It had a creature creator 2 thing.
I do love Spore.
What I'm amazed by is that we don't have a... So, I think it was back to Tony Hawk. Calling back to an episode a couple of weeks ago. You could take a picture of yourself, like digitally, like a digital picture, and you could put it... I don't remember how you sent it to them, but you could send it to the creators with your memory card. And then they would send you back the memory card
Oh my gosh,
with your character.
I gotta see if I have the picture like deep in my Facebook memories or something. But even Madden had a thing like a few years ago. Like if you had a camera, it's like you can upload your face and you can become a coach. Like
that's what I was saying. Why don't we have more of that? Why can't I take a picture?
Because the technology
on
is
my
rough.
phone and then upload it to whatever game I'm playing.
Like
it's all connected to the internet.
With Tony Hawk, it was literally probably just a picture in that day and age. But like the
it was
technology, it was funny because I remember like people laughing at my picture because it came out quite well, like for the Madden one, because it literally digitized my face and put it on a coach. Like I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, even if it was a little video where it kind of went around your face a little bit, so they can get the 3D of it.
That's like
I'm just amazed that that's not more of a thing.
Oh, that was a thing on the 3DS. That was a thing. I was trying to remember. I'm like, this sounds familiar to me. It was
like
on the
the
3DS.
Mii's?
Yep, you could take a picture, and I don't remember. It's just some games that were like in the 3DS or like.
Yep.
That was a thing. I swear I'm not crazy, but I'm trying to
It
remember.
had like an AR, and was it an AR? One of the AR games.
I think so. I think it might have been.
It had little flying things come at you with your face on it. Or
with
something.
your face on it.
Yep.
We need more of that. I don't know how many people are character creating characters that look like themselves. I always do.
I have been, but over the last couple of years, I've been trying to get away from it just to be more adventurous.
Yeah.
It depends on the
also,
game.
Tony Hawk, the new one and 2, doesn't let you wear glasses. And then this
That's
Cyberpunk,
rude.
I might be able to get glasses at some point, but it didn't let me get glasses to begin with. And I'm...
Because that'll
it's
probably...
part of my identity.
The glasses will probably have stats to it if you do get a pair of like glasses or shades or something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Depends on the game.
Yep.
Anyways. I also been playing a little bit more of Dragon Quest. I do want to kind of retract a statement from last week, and that was all, and then I'll kind of get off of it. But so when I was playing Away From Home, it was really fuzzy graphics, but it was playing with no lag. I think my service was worse at the hotel that I was at the other day. But it wasn't doing that for me. The graphics looked fine, and it was lagging, and I was like, why aren't you doing the thing where you're fuzzy, but playing well? So I guess try it out and know that sometimes it will lag on you, and then look totally fine on screen, which is stupid.
I mean, it also depends whether you're connected to Wi-Fi or cellular data or whatever.
And then just how good the service is, yeah. Because the time I played before that, it just, the fidelity of the screen went way down. Like, the graphics was, like, way, like, was garbage. But it was fine, because it was playing okay. And then I guess just the service was so bad here that it was super choppy.
It's like, nope.
Like what?
I said it was just like, nope.
Yep. So, I don't know. I guess maybe they need to perfect that a little bit more. I'm totally fine with the graphics getting a lower quality when I'm in lower service area. That just makes sense. But I don't want it to lag. That's that's a problem. Even in an RPG, if it's lagging as you're walking around, just kind of annoying to play.
Yep.
I'll play it on xCloud for those who don't know. And then, other than that, the 2D thing is a super cool concept. So in Dragon Quest 11, you can play 3D and you can play 2D. It's not as cool as I thought it was because I can't just switch whenever I want.
Oh, you have to go to like the church or something to switch it, right?
Yeah, so you have like your chapters or whatever. Or, I don't think they're chapters. I think they might just be events, big events that you play. And so when you go to a church, you can like start a 2D save file from your last 3D event or vice versa.
Okay.
And you keep all of your money and your stats and stuff, but it's not just like a simple. It's a totally different save. It's not just a flip flop of graphics, which makes sense. But I hope in the future we can just kind of. I was hoping that it would kind of like you'd want to do the 2D to 3D for like seeing things at different angles.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really cool if it would have like, oh, I need to see this in 2D so that I can see like the roof or something. But small thing. I mean, it's still really cool that I can play that game in like old school,
like an OG
RPG
Dragon Quest game.
Yeah, pretty neat. So, yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Cool.
LJ, what else have you been playing?
Real quick, I've been I tried, so it was free on the Epic Game Store, but Gloomhaven, the digital like version of the game,
Free?
is free on Epic Game Store.
Oh my gosh. That game, the actual physical board game, so expensive.
Yes.
Oh
and so
gosh.
this is the best way to try Gloomhaven if you'll never be able to play Gloomhaven. That game is brutal. Like, if there was ever a Dark Souls version of D&D, Gloomhaven is it. Because it's very much more of a board game. Initiative order is all crazy based on cards. You actually have to play and use your hit points sometimes almost as a resource, so that way you don't burn cards completely, because some cards you burn, and you can get your discarded cards back by burning other cards. Like, it's so nuts. But it's fun. Like, it's me and my buddy were playing it, and I controlled 2 characters and he controlled 2. There's a lot to learn on that game, but it is very fascinating, and I want to kind of explore more. The character classes are really cool. It's a turn-based, like, tactical combat style thing. So in depth, and I'm excited that it was free, because I'm like, I've always been interested in buying the game, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend money on it. So now I believe it might still be free on Epic Game Store for those interested, but it's very deep and interesting. Yeah. That's kind of it for me.
Joe Morgan, he used to be a podcast host. He bought Gloomhaven, and I got to pick up the box that was unopened still when he'd gotten it, and the box was heavy.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to it. Yep.
It's a big
and it's
game.
a legacy game too, so like anything you do stays like on there, you know? It's like there are other campaigns you can run and stuff like that too with it, but like your character levels are gonna stay and stuff like that. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Shelley, what have you been playing?
So I got sick this last week, which is why I did not record, which was too bad. You did not want to hear me. I was sounding I still sound a little bit gross. I'm still recovering just a tiny bit. I'm mostly better, but I was like dying. It wasn't COVID, but it felt like COVID. Like, I swear it was, but it wasn't. But in that time, I played way more Persona 4 Golden, because after I stopped streaming, I just because that was my main game I was streaming, I really just didn't play it for a super duper long time. And I thought, man, I want to play some Persona 4 Golden. I don't want to play Royal. I want to play Golden. I mean, I love them both, obviously, but I was in the mood for Golden, so I played. And I was already near the end of the game. Very close to one of the endings, I guess is what I should say. But I did 2 more dungeons. I did some Reaper farming, which, if you don't know, the Reaper is a shadow you can encounter in Persona 3 through 5. He's kind of a reoccurring guy. He's supposed to be really strong, and you usually get something from him after you beat him. So I did some Reaper farming, which was so frustrating, but I did it. Got all the most broken weapons in the game. That's how it is in Golden. You get the most broken weapons in the game from that guy after you beat him so many times. The way you spawn him, like in Royal, it makes a lot of sense. It's like not too bad. You basically just run around Mementos long enough, which, you know, Mementos, if you don't know the game, it's basically a place where you can go grinding. Like, that's basically all it is. It's, without spoilers, you just grind there. If you spend too long there, the Reaper shows up, you have to fight him. In Golden, you have to open 20 chests, then 21 chests. Well, you have to open 21 regular chests, and there's 2 types of chests in the game. And one of them resets that counter. So you have to always, you have to get the locked chests, open 21 of those in a row, and then you'll start hearing the Reaper sounds. And then there's a chance that the next chest you open up spawns the Reaper. And it's not a 100% chance. So there's like ways to farm to try to make that process easier, but it's still really annoying. So, but I did it. And now I'm on the actual last dungeon. I thought there was only one more dungeon after the one I, had beaten. But there's actually 2 more. So I'm on the actual last one, the for sure last dungeon. Nice. I am close to end the game. I think I'm just doing some more grinding. I'm like still not really confident I'm high enough level. But I will be able to beat that game very soon, which is like good and bad, right? It started so long ago, so it's good to finish, but it's also kind of sad because it's a really fun game and I really like it a lot. I just really want Persona 3 out on systems already. Like they announced it, they said it was going to happen, and I trust that and I know that, but I want more information because I'm impatient. I even heard that there's some rumor that they might be remaking Persona 3, which would be very hype, but I would be surprised if they would be bringing Persona 3 onto modern systems and also remaking it. Kind of confuses me a little bit, but we'll see. I'm at least just gonna play the original once it gets on like PC or PS5 and stuff, for example. But man, that game is just so good. I love Persona Gold. I don't think I'm 100 hours in yet. I think I'm around 75 or more, though. I don't know. I'll have to check. Many hours, I guess. But besides that, I also started Majora's Mask because actually we have a Majora's Mask puzzle and we've been working on it for a little bit, especially now it's like fall season. I don't know. I kind of associate that with puzzle season. It's just like, get your tea and you like work on a puzzle. And Majora's Mask, it's like, it's kind of a scary puzzle, right? Because Majora's Mask is like kind of a darker, Legend of Zelda game. It has like the Majora's like mask thing, and it has the fierce deity and like these little kids in the background. It's kind of creepy, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know any of the context. I've never played Majora's Mask, and I thought, you know what, I should just do it because I have the expansion pass thing for Nintendo Online. It has Nintendo 64 games. It has Majora's Mask. It's literally for free. Like I don't have to pay any extra for it. No reason to just not play it, especially because it has save states too. It's an emulator. It has save states, and I think one of the reasons I didn't really want to play the game originally is because I, heard it's like on a timer, you have 3 days to do everything, and I didn't really know the context for that. Like, I don't really have any spoilers. Like, I don't really know what happens in the game, so I didn't really know how that was handled, but that kind of freaked me out. I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to be like on a time restriction, but with save states, it's like, there's no pressure there, because it's just, makes it a lot easier. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
I played that game with strategy guides.
Yeah.
Because basically without the save states, it's just the entire game is a time trial. It's just a time trial over and over and over and over.
Right.
I hate time trials.
I mean, and then you reset and have to complete certain quests and all that too.
That's kind of where I'm like kind of figuring out. I'm like, oh, I'm in the swamp. I did all this stuff. End of the 3 days, got to restart. Oh shoot, I have to do all this again. Huh? So just trying to figure that out.
I just followed a strategy guide just so I could play the story out. The story's good. It was a good game.
Yeah.
Just very anxiety.
Anxiety inducing a little bit.
Causing.
Yeah.
Inducing. Yes.
Makes sense. But, and I think what I'm going to do is, I'll talk about it a little bit later. I'm probably going to, whenever I do finish this, eventually, hopefully I do, I'm going to get the manga because, I'll talk about it a little bit more later when we talk about other stuff we've been geeking out about, but I read the next Twilight Princess manga that came out recently. in English. It's been out in Japanese for a little bit, but they do have Majora's Mask manga, and I've heard that, just like in Twilight Princess, they took some creative liberties and make it really dark. And so I'm like, I definitely want to see that. So
that'd be cool.
That's what I've been playing.
Nice.
We'll get into the video game news then. Go ahead to LJ.
Yeah, so nothing too heavy this week, but some notable stuff. To get back on the Cyberpunk, we're gonna do this one other time later. We're gonna hop back on. Hop back on the train a few times. So, I wanted to mention this because this week Cyberpunk reached a huge milestone, which I believe was like a million players, because of the Edge Runners update and the show. So it's a huge milestone. I saw last week that Cyberpunk had the most players playing online at one time than it ever did during launch.
It's so crazy.
And so the numbers
not
just
surprising.
keep going up, and I think it's cool. It doesn't fix the game, but it's people are saying, oh, maybe I should go back and check it out again. And they can see the work that CD Projekt Red has done. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't mean the game's good now, which it's better now. It's got issues, but I think it's a nice resurgence. I think it's cool that it's happening, and then hopefully it pushes CD Projekt Red to work even harder on it and become the game they wanted to make. Become because the bugs that I've had are weird, but they're not game breaking anymore. So it's like.
Well, they've only said this is the one and only DLC they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so they do have a DLC coming, an official update. I think next year, that's an official expansion. So these are.
It's the only one they're doing.
Yeah, so the Edge Runner one was just a fun little patch and update. Probably has some content from the show in there, a little bit.
We'll see if it's the only DLC. I have a feeling as popular as it's getting, maybe they'll change their...
Well, yeah, because I forget what the official expansion is called. Cyberpunk expansion. Let me see what this is called. Phantom Liberty is the first expansion that's coming
next
year, I think, at some point.
It's going to be a mystery noir.
But that's also kind of why I want to finish it too, because I'm ooh, and I know CG Projekt Red is good at expansions because those Witcher expansions are apparently really good too. So I'm I want to see what.
Have you not played Blood and Wine?
No, I've heard Blood and Wine is a game on its own though.
That's what I've heard.
So good.
Yep, and so that's why I'm
my favorite part about Witcher 3 was Blood and Wine.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's I want to be there when the expansion comes out. So. I definitely. Why. That's part of. That is a small reason I wanted to get back into Cyberpunk. So,
when Witcher 3 comes to the next gens, you should check out the DLC.
I've been waiting for the next gen update for Witcher 3 too. I really have been. I remember the last time I played that game, I fought this giant stone golem in a basement somewhere, and I'm like, this is cool. This thing kicked my butt, but this is cool.
Story's so good.
But
all the different choices you can do.
The Witcher's
I really fell in love with that game.
Yeah.
It was something I didn't think I'd like.
Yep. So good. So I'm happy that the show has led people to go revisit it and to check it out. But anyway, in other news, not Cyberpunk related, E3 dates have been officially confirmed. And the dates are June 13th through 16th.
Hype.
So that's exciting. E3 is not dead.
Yeah, we were a little worried.
E3 is not dead. It's surely alive.
I mean,
Let's go.
on one hand, I was like, man, it's a bummer that it's gone. But we did get an entire summer of announcements, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Summer of Gaming was cool.
And then Tokyo Game Show just came in on the last stop and was like, don't forget about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's still been a good season. So yeah, E3's coming back. I'm excited.
Yeah,
and
it's like a holiday.
It would be cool to go to one someday still.
Yes.
That was one of the things I've always wanted to do, and then I could still take it or leave it because I've been to PAX, so I'm like, okay, that's I could still go to those, but E3 is just one of those I would like to go one day. That'd be like an awesome little, you know.
I don't think they had a PAX South last year either.
No, they didn't. But still, like that's, yeah. But like E3 is still like, ooh, that's the one, you know, like so. It's coming back June 13th through 16th. The other thing I want to mention that I'm kind of interested in is that EA Motive, the people who are working on the Dead Space remake right now, are also working on an Iron Man game.
That could be cool.
What?
The reason why is because they made Star Wars Squadrons, and they've also done flight stuff for Battlefront 2. So I'm like, they could make a sweet Iron Man game with some cool like flying mechanics.
No kidding.
And they've seen how it's probably been done in other games by now too. Because it wasn't that bad in the Avengers game to play as Iron Man. Like you could still hover and shoot stuff and everything. But being that they have the experience working on like flight stuff, I think this could be cool. Story wise, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna go with. If they do their own thing, kind of like Insomniac does, I'd be okay with it too. But like EA Motive is just this part of EA that's like, I feel like they're doing stuff, but they're definitely not doing the biggest stuff. And they've been a support studio for so long that I'm like, hey, cool, give them another game. Like, I'm looking forward to Dead Space in January, so
yeah,
I'm happy they're doing more, and I think Iron Man will be cool. I hope it's cool. Anyway,
as long as there are no loot boxes.
I mean, this is going to be a single player game, so
doesn't mean they couldn't do it.
That's true. Shadow of War.
They seem to give half video games.
I mean, that's EA though. Like, I think EA knows, and it's EA. Like, it's one of those things. I'm like, as long as they don't do anything dumb with it, and as long as they let it be the game that it wants to be, then I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Their new slogan should be EA Games, charge for everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They've definitely had to dial back on that.
Yeah, they've gotten better.
Yep. Anyway, that's kind of it for gaming.
Cool. We'll get into the movies then. LJ, I believe you're the only one that watched a movie this week.
Okay. I'll just mention that I watched Monster House, which is kind of an older movie, but it's like, yeah, it's not quite fall yet, and I didn't think I was gonna start watching spooky movies yet. But my nephew, like, we had him over the other day, and I put on Netflix, and I'm like, all right, what do you want to watch? And he goes, I want to watch The House with the Monster, and I'm thinking like, okay. I'm like, do you mean Monster House? And he goes, yes. So I'm like, okay,
that movie. I remember that
because the house. I'm like, that's a vague description. I'm like, The House with the Monster. What are you talking about?
Right.
Then I was like, Monster House? He goes, yes, because it was on Netflix. I figured, I'm like, that's probably the one.
Yep.
But that was a fun movie to watch again, just because like I remember at the time, like I was like, ooh, this animation's pretty good, you know, like it's even got like it's got a heartfelt story that I never expected from it too. That like has there's a whole reason for the house being a monster house and everything.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a sweet movie. Like at the end of it all, like it's kind of like it's still kind of dark, like the whole like reason for everything, and it's kind of sad, but like it's a good movie though. It's a fun, like it's not too scary or anything. Like it's even before Stranger Things was out, it definitely had the like kids in like a horror situation, or kids in like this like supernatural like setting kind of a thing that like the Goonies and a bunch of other things like E.T. and all that stuff, like the kids on this adventure that's with stuff that's like way bigger than they could ever think of, like, so
for sure. Yeah, pretty simple concept but effective.
Yep, it's kind of like a weird like subgenre, kind of like kids without adults around getting into trouble and getting into crazy things. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's a good movie, and it's on Netflix right now if anybody's interested in a spooky movie that's not like scary, because like I know it's about to be that season, so if you don't like scary like horror stuff, there's plenty of movies out there that have that vibe.
They're fun.
Yeah, that are fun. So this is one of them.
Movie taught a lot of kids what evil is.
Yep. It did. I thought that was the heart.
So specifically.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's what I watched.
Cool. We'll get to the movie news. Movie news then. Go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah, no problem. So, first thing we're going to talk about is that Avatar, not the last Airbender, alien Avatar, it's actually back
Pocahontas.
in movies theaters.
I was about to make the joke. You mean The Way of Water?
But not The Way of Water. The first Avatar, just Avatar, is back in movie theaters. It's actually already like near the top of the box office, which is kind of impressive, but also it's like, okay, how many of those are people actually want to watch the movie again? How many of them are people who thought it was The Way of Water coming out early? or that it was that? Like, they weren't paying attention?
I was told that it was Way of Water, and so I did Google it.
And then I wonder if some of those people bought tickets, like the people that bought tickets for like the Morbius re-release and just didn't go, like they just bought tickets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a little concerning, but I mean, if anything, it's just going to probably increase hype for The Way of Water.
Yeah.
Which
I'm sure that was their point.
It's probably the point. But
I'm legit gonna watch it on Disney Plus again before Way of Water comes out. Like I plan.
Yeah, I definitely want to as well. I don't know if I need to see it in theaters.
Cameron says if you've never seen it in theaters and you only seen it on TV, then I've
seen it on theaters and it was beautiful.
I saw it. I think I saw it in theaters. I believe I did.
I saw it in theaters.
Did you say James Cameron or Kirk Cameron?
I think I said Kirk Cameron. I meant James Cameron.
James Cameron? Okay, cool. That's funny.
I was like, I caught that late, and I was like, wait.
How do you know if you grew up in a Christian household?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Man.
Jeez.
Basically the same. They're both visionaries.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I don't really know if I have anything more to say about that. I mean, honest, Avatar is Avatar. Blue people, very pretty. Not much else. I don't know.
Probably doesn't hold up anymore, but was revolutionary for CGI.
It doesn't. I am still excited for The Way of Water, though. It'll be exciting to see the difference.
I'm too, but I just don't think it's going to revolutionize. It's like the PS2 to the PS3 graphics were like amazingly different.
Yeah, but then now.
But now we're at a point where is Way of Water really going to look that different from the original Avatar?
No, but I think the idea of how they filmed it is kind of what is supposed to be considered revolutionary because the actors had to spend a lot of time actually filming underwater.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's,
yeah.
I remember seeing there was reports of somebody, I don't know, having to never have breathed underwater that long or never swam that long or something I remember seeing shots of them having the camera stuff and these bulky things underwater for filming like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where James Cameron's "Oh, I'm edgy. We're gonna film this thing underwater."
I mean, yeah.
I want it to be visually amazing.
Yeah.
I want it to completely astonish me. I just my bar is. I feel like if I go in thinking that, I'm gonna be let down. So I'm just gonna go in.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's pretty, and the trailer is actually pretty good. But I'm not.
I do think it'd be funnier if the Na'vi would have come to Earth, that it would have just been Pocahontas 2. Rewritten as aliens.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Besides that, we also have a trailer for the Enola Holmes sequel. I think it's just Enola Holmes 2. I don't think it's a fancy name.
I believe so.
Right. First one came out on Netflix. I think this one's also just coming out to Netflix. Millie Bobby Brown. Obviously, a lot of people love her from Stranger Things, but here she can embrace her accent. She can embrace herself being British. And
Henry Cavill looks like he has a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah, no, it looks really fun. I never actually watched the first one, but I like all the little fourth wall breaks in the trailer, and it makes me think, if that's kind of what the energy is here, I dig that. I like that because Sherlock can be pretty serious. It's very corny, so I like that this kind of embraces that corniness a little bit. It's let's be a little silly with it. This is all kind of fun and games here, so I like that. So if you enjoyed the first one, or you're just a really big Millie Bobby Brown fan, then this is good news. I don't think it's bad news, really. If anything, it's just neutral for people who don't care. But the last thing I want to talk about is that James Earl Jones has officially retired from Darth Vader. Darth Vader voice, which is very significant. But what's even more crazy with that is he didn't just retire to like hand it off to another voice actor. He retired and gave permission for Disney to use, I think it's called Respeecher, which is an AI program used to replicate his voice if they want to use more Darth Vader stuff in the future, which probably they will, because obviously we all love Darth Vader. Which is...
I hope he's like having to record some things and they're not just ripping it from the movies.
Old stuff.
Yeah.
For the AI, I do like... My thing with that is in Mandalorian. No, Boba Fett. When you hear... Spoilers. It was all over the news. Luke Skywalker speak.
Right.
It just feels very emotionless.
Yeah.
Ghost-like. So hopefully they're able to kind of like put some inflection. Hopefully the AI is able to do that. I don't know. I'm sure it will at some point, but
yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. It's we were talking a little bit before we recorded the podcast. It's really interesting that we're now seeing, like, we've seen so many uses of AI, especially from Disney, to sort of carry on a legacy for actors who have died. You know, they want to bring back the character, they don't have the actor, they don't want to, cast someone else. They just use AI. And that can be weird and kind of uncanny valley, but here's a situation in which, James Earl Jones has literally given permission. He's like signed off on it. He's retired. He's letting him do it, which is really interesting. Because I know I don't really follow voice acting that much, but I do follow a lot of voice actors on Twitter, and I know that that's like a huge concern. It's sort of like the same with somewhat similar vein with just AI art in general. A lot of people are just going to AI art instead of, actually paying artists, and AI art a lot of times will just steal from art that is just on the internet, made by other artists, and, they don't get credit. Very similar thing with AI voices and, deep fakes even.
Oh, yeah.
Deepfakes can be really trouble because it can really help spread misinformation and a lot of other stuff, aside from being kind of silly. But a lot of times it can be actually kind of spooky. And again, just kind of like spread misinformation, because if you see someone's face and hear their voice, it's like, that used to be very definitive proof of someone doing something, but now not so much. Technology is to that point. So I think this is it's really good that, he's letting them have permission for that. And on one hand, I think it's going to be really exciting that if we do hear Darth Vader in the future, it's still going to be like originated from his voice. And it's, again, something that he's gotten permission for. So there's no harm in this exchange at all. But I am curious to see your guys' thoughts on like AI voice acting and AI kind of like how that works, if you guys have any opinions.
AI in general is really intriguing. This is kind of a sidestep to what the voice acting and stuff, but Game Scoop was talking about IGN's podcast about they're kind of up-resing like Skyrim right now, but they were saying that in the future they could see you could literally take a video game that you're playing and say, I want this to be in 16-bit, and AI could just make that game into a 16-bit top-down.
Right.
And like it would be a whole video game. Which, I mean, there's two parts to that, right? So like on that hand, it's good for the developers because on a video game standpoint, because it's less for them to do.
Yeah.
But for an actor, you can literally make someone look like whoever you want. And so you can kind of, I think there's a lot of people that could lose jobs in that. And you're talking about like the voice acting. Mm-hmm. If someone can sound like someone else, then you don't really need that person. If they are more expensive, you can just use this AI that, you can reuse whenever you want and have a cheaper voice actor do the work. So I don't know. I think that's really, really interesting. I don't know what it'll look like in the future, what that'll do to the industry. But I know with movie theaters kind of going out of business and movies becoming more and more expensive, they're going to try to cut corners in any way they can. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's healthy for anyone to like lose their job. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that allows that person to do art in a different way, but I don't see it that way personally.
Yeah.
I think with this situation in particular, I think it's cool that I think it's cool that James Earl Jones gave them permission if they did. Mm-hmm. But also Darth Vader already has a second voice actor, in which I thought I think they could totally use if they wanted to. They've had an actor do Darth Vader for various video games.
That's
recently.
right. Yeah.
In Jedi Fallen Order, in like Squadrons, and in other games, they've had this actor Scott Lawrence. Like, even in I played Vader Immortal recently, the VR series, and it was great. And he does a really good job. I mean, you could tell it's not James Earl Jones, but he still does an amazing job. So it's like, I
would hope too that like an AI system like this, that they wouldn't just be like a speak and spell situation. I would hope that there is someone doing a voice close as they can to Vader,
like,
and then the AI is
kind
perfecting it.
Or like they could get this guy to do it, and then maybe that AI technology kind of fills in the gaps and kind of, makes it sound more like,
more like, yeah.
But I mean, and that's my thing. Like, I think Disney, the AI stuff is not necessary to me. I get what Disney's doing. Like, they're trying to be like, oh, like, let's bring this back, or, we don't want to recast anybody. But I don't believe it's necessary. Like, I think it's cool that they're trying it. The Luke Skywalker stuff.
I feel like they do the worst job out of anyone I've seen so far.
And the Luke Skywalker stuff is still weird to me. Like, when they did, like, what was it, Tarkin, whatever. I'm like, that's fine if you're gonna show him real quick or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's cool, whatever. But like, if it's too much, like Boba Fett.
You see him for a long time. It looks really fake.
Yes, and Boba Fett.
I'm gonna throw a Netflix show recently did a better job, I feel like, than Mandalorian did with.
Yeah, but it's just like
CGI.
To me, like, I thought it was cool to have. I mean, I guess this is spoilers since we've already talked about Luke. But I think that much of Luke that they showed when they first did the big reveal in Mandalorian, that was fine. That's all they needed. But when they went further with it in Boba Fett, I'm like, this is absolutely not necessary at all. I don't even know why we're going into this stuff yet. Like, it didn't.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
I think it's fine. It's just not done well yet. Like, Mark Hamill's alive. Mark Hamill can sign off on all of that. I don't know if he did or not.
But I think
he was there for the first cameo.
I think there's people that would have loved to see like Sebastian Stan do like Luke or something.
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
And I think like I get it with like there's certain situations like with Chadwick Boseman, you can't do anything to replace that because either way you're messing up if you try.
Well, I think part of that too was they were scared of after Han Solo.
Oh yeah.
They recasted Han Solo and it got a lot of flack.
And even the stuff they tried with like Leia, like
and Rogue One.
I don't think it's necessary.
That made me cry.
I was thinking more like the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, that too. Yeah, I was just thinking Rogue One.
The Rogue One stuff I found interesting. I think what was it to get her? Was that like her daughter or something? No,
maybe.
It was another actress. I think, actually.
Okay.
But I think like
they CGI'd over her though. It was Leia's.
That's not a huge deal to me. Like as long as
it was a really fast reveal.
Yeah,
it was very fast, and it's sort of like the message there is like, this character did this thing, and that's all you need to know. Whereas, using like AI in other ways, like I mean, even also in Rogue One, like the whole thing with Tarkin and the whole thing was
that's
like
what I mentioned first.
That's exactly. It's like, oh, they're trying to do like character development stuff here. That's a little weird. Like, it's one thing to just be like, oh, we have to use your face because we need you to know that this character did this thing, or like, whatever.
Or show that they exist, or
that they exist. Yeah, but then it's like when you're trying to actually do stuff.
Yep.
Like maybe just get an actor at that point.
Yep.
I do think permission's a huge thing too.
Yeah.
I like if I had any characters, I'd want those legacies to live on.
Yep.
But I'd also want to like sign off on that. Like.
Yeah.
I just feel like defacing someone else's performance to just.
It's weird.
Do it without.
You're using.
And I guess that's why too. Like I'm glad that James Earl Jones did sign off on it because it's like.
Me too.
Now they can't pull that crap later, and be like, oh hey look we did it, and it's like no he actually signed off on it, like.
Right, that's what I mean. It's like this situation totally cool, totally checks out, and is good. Yep. It's just I think AI in general when it comes to voice acting, when it comes to art, and when it also comes to like sort of the deep fakes, like I don't know, it's a little concerning to me. Cool on the tech, like I love tech. On the tech side, it's very interesting, but it's also like concerning because I want creators to be credited and not stolen from, right? So, but that's what we have for movie news.
Cool. That was a good discussion.
We'll get into TV then. She-Hulk is good. It just isn't doing what I want it to do. Lj knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I thought we were getting it, and they
also,
they knew exactly what they were doing.
I'm also still like, let the haters hate, because there's people that are just dislike this show just because, like, I still think it's not for all the right reasons. Like, sure,
if this was a Hulk show, I would be upset.
They haven't done the thing that I wanted them to do yet, but that's fine. I'm like, okay. Not everything needs to be for me. Not everything has to be done the way I want it. But I'm also like, hey, this show's funny. It's weird that you're also treating it like kind of a comedy show, but also adding plot development, which is still weird. But like, so I'm confused. I'm still confused with what they really want to do with the show, but also I'm still enjoying it. So I think that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm not mad at it yet, but if it doesn't stick the landing. Because I think we only have 2 episodes left. If it doesn't stick the landing in the next 2 episodes, I kind of will be upset. But other than that, I'm enjoying it right now.
It has been very Monster of the Week in its writing. And I think that's really weird for a Marvel show so far.
Yes.
Everything else has been kind of leading to something.
Right.
And leading at least to the next episode.
Yep.
Even WandaVision, which was literally based off of episodic sitcoms.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of weird. Like, it gives you a little bit of plot at the end, but everything's been very, this is what we're doing this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you that I don't really know what our end goal is yet.
But they're doing the thing that they always do, where it's like they try to throw something at you in the beginning of the beginning of the show, then they take a few episodes and just kind of do what they want, and then it's like they have to tie up all the loose ends during the last parts of the season.
Yeah. I'm also bummed we haven't been getting end credit scenes the last couple episodes.
I know, me too. Like, my mom and my cousin...
I was told that we were going to get one every episode, and we did for a little bit.
My mom and my cousin have been waiting for him too, and I'm like, oh, like, it makes me wonder if people really got so upset over the Megan Thee Stallion thing that they just decided not to have after credits things anymore, which I thought was funny as heck.
I saw again. I haven't watched the show, but I've seen it all on Twitter. I keep seeing Megan Thee Stallion.
I thought it was funny. Like, the memes that have come out of it too. I was like, this is hilarious, and that set people off so bad. And I'm like, just let them, like. Go ahead, Marvel.
Like I said, if this was a Hulk show, I would be upset. But it's not a Hulk show; it's a She-Hulk show.
Yeah, it's true.
It's allowed to be goofy. I see a lot of people are like, Iron Man died for this, and I'm like, well, yeah, like, this is what they've always done, is genre expand, and I think that's. I like the fact that they keep expanding to different genres, and I think it's necessary for it to stay interesting, which is struggling to do so lately. So I'm glad that they have something weird like this, and also it's not like we're getting. I keep hearing a lot of people say that it's nothing but comedy anymore. All of Marvel's a joke. But, like, we got Moon Knight, and Moon Knight was so well done. And so it's not really fair to say that they're all comedies. I don't think that Secret Invasion will be very comedic.
No.
And they're giving variety. It's not that
it feels like they're just, like, I feel like they're having fun. Like, I feel like when I watch She-Hulk, I feel like the people who made this had a lot of fun making it. Like... Well, it's got issues, but it's still, like, I'm like, they had a fun time making it.
Yeah. The case in this last episode did feel a bit like a cable TV show.
It did.
But it's okay.
A lot of the cases do.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on the cases. I think they could have been more smartly done. But it was fun.
I need them to use real comics like they do in the comic. Because the comics are licensed and real accounts.
Your real life events. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I want her to break out a comic.
That's basically all I've been watching. I did that. I finished Cobra Kai finally.
Oh, nice. What do you think?
I forgot that I hadn't finished that before.
Spoilers, I guess.
It's good. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I think it was probably one of the best seasons so far.
I agree. Well written.
And it didn't. They had an opportunity to end the same way they always do and be very repetitive, and they kind of broke the mold a little bit in a cool way with the way that they ended this season. So I think that's really cool. We need another season because there's a. I don't want to give anything. It's not giving anything away. It gives away that something hasn't happened yet. There's another movie that could be explored in the Miyagiverse a little bit.
I mean, we talked about it last week that it's not going to be connected, right?
Not
Not that one. Oh, you're talking about the next Karate Kid.
Takes place in the Miyagiverse.
They haven't hinted at anything like that, by the way.
Yeah, I think we've had conversations like the first few seasons.
There was he makes a comment that Daniel wasn't.
He wasn't the only student or something.
Yes, yep.
So I guess that kind of spoils for anyone watching the season. Like, you're not going to get any of that, so don't expect it, I guess.
True. It's fine.
But
I've not watched.
Yeah, it's good. It doesn't. They've really turned around. Like, it felt like the previous season, they're just like, let's go as hard as we can, as cheesy as we can. And then this season's like, okay, let's calm down now. We've had our fun. Let's do this.
Yeah.
The stakes get even higher in this one.
They do.
Cool way.
It's
that I'm surprised that we haven't explored yet the way that past seasons have gone, how dark they've ended.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that the stakes haven't gotten to where they are in this season. But I don't care how much you have to pay. Get Hilary Swank, do a cameo, and we need one more season for it.
I feel like they have the perfect setup to do so this time.
Yeah.
Without saying anything else, I feel like there's a great opportunity for her to do so.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about the future of Cobra Kai in a little bit. It's actually in our news. Some disappointing news about Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been watching House of the Dragon. I won't speak on it too much. It's dark and shocking, as you would expect Game of Thrones to be.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like Game of Thrones.
There's new actresses in this last episode, and I'm not a fan of that. Because I spent 4 episodes, I think, really appreciating the acting of the main characters, and now they're different people.
They changed actresses?
Yeah.
There's
a lot of time jumps in the show so far, but there's a really big time jump in this one. And so to do that, the 2 main actresses change.
That's
and
weird.
It's kind of a bummer.
I've stopped watching shows because of recasts. Because it's just
and they're not. I mean, we've only seen them 1 episode. I don't know if they're bad per se. They're just not the people that I'm grown attached to.
Yeah.
It's me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But dark, mature, rated R, be very conscious and use discernment. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, it's probably a really boring show, honestly. So, you should know by now whether or not you watch Game of Thrones or not. The content is the same, if not more in depth.
Interesting.
That's all I've been watching.
Cool.
LJ, what else have you been watching?
All right, time to bring it up one more time. But I've been watching Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
We've literally inserted
does
it
whatever
3 times.
Cyberpunk.
So I started watching Edge Runners, which because I like I said, I just got back into the game yesterday morning, and I was like, ooh, let me watch Edge Runners finally. Edge Runners is done by Studio Trigger, who is famously known for Kill La Kill. So if you've watched Kill La Kill and anything Studio Trigger does, you know the stuff they do is pretty out there. It's very good, but out there. Edge Runners is it. I think it's interesting because it sticks it's so faithful to the game and that world, and just even there's certain things they do, certain sound effects that you hear throughout the game the whole time that oh, that's weird to hear that noise on a TV show. When they take phone calls and stuff, it's that same sound effect from the game when you answer your phone and stuff like that. And then it's just a lot of the lingo they have in the game that's there too. But I also think what it does really well is it kind of shows you what it's like for a character or characters to live in this world that's pretty messed up. It's not, it's messed up and it's people struggle. Then you have the corpos and, just people from different walks of life as well. That, you get to see some of that too. But, as far as, what it's like to live in that world, and when he gets introduced to the main character, he's a young kid named, think it's David. I think his name's David, like Martinez or something. He's a Latino kid who struggles, who's living a struggling life where his mother like is forced to like raise him on her own, and it's cool. It's great. It does have adult content. I mean, Cyberpunk the game does, so expect the show to a very high quality show, very very good all around. I think the story is really cool too, and just how this kid gets involved with some of the shadier aspects of the Cyberpunk world, which we already know from the game, you know, like because V is already heavily involved in a lot of that stuff. But this kid that they jokingly, I think, call him D at first, which is I thought was funny. You know, we get to see him enter this world, enter this like sketchy underground of Night City. So I think it's cool. It's pretty solid. I've watched like maybe 4 episodes of it so far. I don't know exactly how many it has, but it's good. But yes, that mature warning is there. There's definitely nudity in it and stuff like that, and things that people should be aware of. So that's all I got.
Nice.
Cool.
Yep.
And Shelley?
I'm very behind on like every show. We've been watching Teen Titans World season 4 now, so it's only this season and season 5, and then that's it. But it's still been really fun. We've been watching most and just skipping like some of the like pure filler episodes, but also watching some of the really fun filler episodes, since a lot of those filler episodes are very fun. Still a good show. Still holds up, in my opinion.
Nice.
So I'm happy to say that so far, that's still been really good.
Cool.
And I am caught up on Rings of Power. So I'm still watching that. I know that comes out every like Friday or so. I feel like a lot of people really hate the show, but I don't hate the show.
From what I watched, it's not that I didn't dislike it, but it was more of a thing where I'm like, I feel like I can't really pay attention to this right now because it is slow and there's a lot to take in. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I think I'm gonna wait till
Nothing's happening.
See, yeah, and so I'm like, I'm gonna wait till a few.
I watched last episode. I'm behind.
Okay. So I decided I'm gonna wait till a few more episodes come out.
Yeah.
So that way I can kind of binge it more and kind of like get more focused into it. Because I feel like there's just so many shows out right now that it's like hard for me to keep up. Like
no, absolutely.
Like Andor. I've only seen a few episodes of Andor.
Watched. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I think She-Hulk is the main focus for me right now. Yeah. And once that's over, I'll probably get into the other shows more.
Sweet. Yeah. I think it's, you know, there's so many different stories that you're following, and you know that they're all going to link up somehow, but you don't know how they're going to link up. And so it's kind of like, okay, we just kind of waiting. Do we care about these characters? You know, there's definitely some characters and some dynamics I care about more than others. And so I won't spoil anything, but I'm still enjoying it. I mean, it's not like it's a perfect show by any means, but I'm enjoying it enough. So it's very pretty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I like a little bit of like the world building stuff. Again, I don't know if the lore is accurate, probably not, but it interests me nonetheless. But that's all I've been watching. Again, just very behind on like anything Marvel, anything Star Wars at this point. I'm just like, I don't know.
Cool.
A lot to keep up with.
There's so much TV going on right now.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll start with Cobra Kai just because we were talking about it a little bit ago. I did not realize this, and watching the last season, it kind of makes sense that they ended the season the way that they did. I don't want to give anything away, but they could have stretched things out and didn't, and that is because season 6 may be delayed if it's renewed, and I didn't realize that it wasn't greenlit for. I figured it just had like 3 more seasons or something like that already greenlit. I didn't realize it was on a season by season basis. Yeah,
I thought maybe if they, I know there was never like an official announcement that they were gonna do like season 6. I don't think. But watching this previous season, I was like, they gotta be already having something, you know. So.
Yeah. It keeps itself obviously open to do so. I'm not saying one way or another. I don't think I'm spoiling anything in saying that the season ends in a way of like you can tell that they didn't know whether or not they were moving forward or not. It's not necessarily. I don't want to say it's closed off. I'm not going to say that it's leaving stuff wide open for.
And they could have chosen to. They could have chosen to end certain aspects of the show as well, but they did keep some things going, which I think
pun not intended.
That's a good one. But I found it interesting. The decisions that they made in the end were very. I'm like, okay, so y'all have to be doing another one if you're doing this kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah, there are questions that we don't have answers to for sure.
Because potentially, if certain things happened the way they looked like they were going to, they could have just ended the show completely with the season.
Yeah, it's true.
I would have applauded them if they did, because I'm like, okay, all right, but they didn't. So,
right,
definitely. So that's kind of where Cobra Kai's sitting at. I'm kind of bummed with that news. I read that and I was like, oh, I delayed, let alone. And I'm sure the delay is because they probably are just busy with it not being greenlit. Like, why wouldn't she pick up other projects?
They're still coming off of the season being finished anyway, so...
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix, Dragon Prince got a teaser trailer, and it looks real good. There's a time jump, which surprised me.
That's cool.
But I think it's really funny because my mom called it a kid's Game of Thrones. Shelley says that it's not as political, so it's a bad comparison. I think the reason that she said that, and the reason that I kind of get it, is because the characters are not black and white. There's not good and evil necessarily.
Right.
They are, like, the bad guys are bad guys,
different
but
kingdoms.
they're definitely in that, like, kind of like Avatar, in that they feel like they're the good guys at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that.
That's how Game of Thrones says all of the characters are. You think that, like, this is the good family and this is the bad family, but there's good people on the bad family and there's bad people on the good family. And it's all kind of just muddled. There are no good or bad people. They're just all humans. So I think that was kind of... But anyways, the new Game of Thrones show has time jumps. And so this season having time jumps, I was like, interesting. Probably already planned. I think Dragon Prince has a pretty mapped out start to finish. So that probably wasn't the case, but still cool regardless. Then we got a genre change for Werewolf by Night, which is Disney Plus's Marvel horror movie. It's like ode to old 70s.
It's 70s? Like a one-off.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's like a... Even older than
Monster
that,
movies?
like 50s, like probably
50s, yeah.
60, like
old Dracula
really,
and werewolf.
Really old black and white horror movies, yeah.
Yeah. So it was listed as a comedy, and I don't know if that was a mistake or if they just maybe it has comedic undertones that didn't come across in the trailer at all. But it is now listed as a horror, and that makes a lot of sense. It makes me a little more excited for it because Disney Plus doesn't really do, like, Disney doesn't do horror at its source, and so I'm interested in what this show will be. In the trailer, we see some... Is it the TSA? What were they called? Time people?
TVA.
Yeah. I was like, no, it's not it's not TSA.
Definitely not TSA.
Not airport
TVA.
security. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Either way. So there's some Marvel connections in there, and I'm curious just how connected it will be to the Marvel universe. I can't imagine it can be super closely linked, but
it's definitely going to be like a special, like, I think that'd be fun if they do something like this for the next couple of years, like this one-off, Halloween special thing.
Make like a Blade one, make a vampire one, and make like a mummy one with what's his name, Moon Knight.
Make a Morbius one. No, just kidding.
It's Morbin time. And then the last trailer that we got was for The Last of Us. And it looks like if you were to take the video game and say, we're going to take this shot for shot and make it into a TV show.
Looks good.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that's what a lot of people want it to be.
There's a shot in there which also tells me they're going to touch on the Left Behind DLC storyline that was in the first game, too.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's interesting.
Yep.
I mean, you probably need to with a whole show worth of content. You need
that's DLC. That free story kind of fits in a weird spot too, like in the middle of the game somewhere too. So like,
yeah, I'll make it filler episodes.
Yeah, they could do that.
Like, I'm interested in the show, even though I've played the game, and I don't really want to like go back. Like, I have no interest in playing the new Last of Us release, part 1, I think is what they called it, right?
Yes, and as much as I think part 1 is not needed, like if I watch this show, this is definitely gonna get me to go and play that. Like I'm like, oh, I hate it that I see a slight desire coming.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a big reason for it, is because the show is going to make a lot of people want to play it.
Yep.
And it makes a lot more, like, they don't want to play a game from the PS3 era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
So, I kind of get that. I think it's
They definitely did it for the show, I think, more so than anything.
Yeah. But I don't know. I hope the show is good. It looks good. There's certain scenes that I just like. I have flashbacks to the video game.
Yeah, it
in
looks
a really cool
like
way.
the game.
Oh,
yeah.
the clicker.
It's interesting how like there. I feel like for a while there were so many zombie shows, and now there's like no zombie shows.
After this, I'm sure there'll be lots again.
Maybe you're right. So it's like I don't know if people really like the zombie show sort of genre. If they like, this could scratch that itch.
Yeah, I think, and people are probably craving something different than like Walking Dead now. Like
exactly.
People want to see something
energy.
new. I think for TV.
Yeah.
And it's already a complete story, so like that could be already a big benefit to some people, where it's like it's not just going to be season on season on season. It's like it's based off of a thing that's going to end, and we know the ending. So
¡Team Abby.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they could get into that would be crazy if Last of Us, and then we get to a season 2, or
that would be.
If we get a few seasons in, there's a time jump.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. My wife brought up a good point the other day. We were talking about, I think it was Days Gone, actually. The best zombie shows or movies or video games are the ones that aren't really about the zombies. It's about the people.
Yep.
And that's something I think Last of Us does really well. So
I love the Keanu meme that was early on. It's like, maybe are we the real Walking Dead?
Yeah. I still prefer that video game, like TV adaptations, be something supplementary instead of replacement.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's still, I don't know. This specifically, I think, is a story that needs to be shared with people who don't play video games. And
yeah,
so it makes sense.
This can work. Because like I know I've told my I've told my stepdad and my mom and like my family that I'm like, oh, like you would really like this thing. It's a really crazy story. And then now I can be like, hey, we got HBO Max, go watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is the news. That is all of the news that we've been geeking out about this week. It's all the stuff that we have been doing and geeking out about this week. So we'll end the podcast there. LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at LJ the Paladin.
And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellShock24.
And you can always find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.